Hey guys, today I'm getting rid of books. I'm getting rid of books, hey hey, I'm getting rid of books, hey hey. So today I'm going to be showing you guys some of the books that I am unhauling. I am getting rid of loads of books for several different reasons, but I've been really inspired recently by the project 0 by 16, which I will leave more information about the 0 by 16 project down below. But basically what this project is to get your TBR pile down to 0 by the year 2016. Now there is no way that I will be able to accomplish this. I am not necessarily participating, but it's still inspiring me and helping me think about my TBR pile and what books I really want to read and what books are just sitting on my shelves collecting dust that I need to get rid of. So today I'm going to be showing you guys the books that I am unhauling. Now before I get started with showing you guys the books, I just want to put it out there that there is no way that I will be able to give these books away to you guys. I know that some of you guys will probably be like, can I have that book? Can I have it? Can I have it? If I could give it to you, I would. There's just no way that I would be able to afford shipping for all of these books because there's a lot of books here, and so unfortunately I cannot do that. I can't give them away. So I'm really sorry about that, guys, but without further ado, let's get started. Let me show you guys the books that I'm getting rid of. And it might be weird that I'm like excited to show you guys the books that I'm getting rid of, but it's kind of a relief. Like, these books have just been sitting on my shelves and they're not being read, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. So let's dive in here. The first one we have is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. I have had this book for so long, it's just been sitting on my shelf, and the only reason I've really been keeping it is because I like the cover. I had completely lost interest in this book quite some time ago, and so I'm just gonna be passing it along to somebody else. Then I'm getting rid of Breadcrumbs by Anne Ursu, and the reason I'm getting rid of this book is because I got it at a library book sale, and the condition is horrid, so it's just getting out of here. And the next one I'm getting rid of is The Gates by John Connolly, and the reason I'm getting rid of this one is because I started reading it, and I just didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of the writing style, so I'm just saying bye-bye. Then I'm getting rid of Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea and Between the Spark and the Burn. I just have completely lost interest for these books, and I've not heard amazing things about them. I've heard kind of mediocre things about them, so I'm just going to get rid of them because I just don't see myself reading them anytime soon. Then I'm getting rid of Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King, and this is one that I might actually pick up in the future again. I might rebuy this eventually, but I just know that I'm not going to be getting to this anytime soon. It's been sitting on my shelf for around 2 years now, and so I'm just gonna get rid of it. If I end up rebuying it in the future, that's okay. The next book I'm getting rid of is Fly on the Wall by E. Lockhart. This is a book that I picked up because one of my friends really loved this book and they encouraged me to buy it, so I bought it, and then it just sat on my shelf for several months. Then I realized that the story didn't really interest me that much, and so I'm getting rid of it. Then I'm getting rid of The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I just have no desire to read this book. I only bought it because people told me that I needed to read more classics, which might be a true thing, but I don't really want to read this book, so getting rid of it. Then I'm getting rid of Fahrenheit 451 and Something Wicked This Way Comes. These are actually books that I really would like to read in the future, but I know that I'm not going to be reading them anytime soon. And I'm really hoping that at some point in the future that new covers will come out for these books, which I feel like will happen, but right now I'm just not digging these covers, and I know that I'm not going to read them anytime soon, so they're leaving the bookshelf. Then I'm getting rid of Asylum by Madeline Rue. A lot of people had told me that this book was similar to Miss Peregrine's, but I found that the only similarity that it has to Miss Peregrine's is the creepy pictures. Other than that, nothing is similar to Miss Peregrine's, which is fine. It's a different story, but I tried reading it and I just couldn't get into the writing style, and I just wasn't interested in the story, so I'm getting rid of this sucker. Then I'm getting rid of this random book that I picked up at BEA. At BEA, you're basically just handed a bunch of free books, and so you're just like, okay, yeah, I'll take that, and I'll take that, and I'll take that too. And I got this one at BEA, and I just know that I'm never going to read it. It's House of Robots, My Brother the Robot. And it actually looks really cool, there's pictures inside of it, but I'm just not gonna read it. I just know I'm not gonna read it, so I'm getting rid of it. Then I'm getting rid of, Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac. Amnesiac. I cannot say that word. I got this book because it was one of my friend's favorite books, and then I realized that I just have no interest in the story at all. It does not sound like something that I would enjoy, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. Next up, I'm getting rid of Hacking Harvard. I bought this book on impulse when I was at Books A Million one time, which happens a lot to me. I just pick up books and I'm like, oh hey, I wanna read this. When in reality, I have a bunch of other books that I should be reading and ones that actually interest me, and so I'm just gonna get rid of this book because I don't even know why I bought it, to be perfectly honest. Then I'm getting rid of Whodunnit, an anthology by a bunch of different authors, and the reason I'm getting rid of this one is because it's been sitting on my shelf for so long now, probably 2 to 3 years now. It's just been collecting dust on my shelf, so it needs to go find a new friend to hang out with. Then I'm getting rid of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is one that I'm conflicted about getting rid of because I read a book by Shirley Jackson and I absolutely loved it. But this book has just been sitting on my shelf for so long, and I've picked it up several times and tried to read it but just never got into it, so I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Maybe I will revisit this one in the future, who knows, but for now, it's getting out of here. Then I'm getting rid of Following Fake Man, and I bought this at a library book sale several years ago, and I tried reading it, couldn't get into it, so it's leaving the nest. Then I'm getting rid of The Disenchantments, and I was actually going to be reading this alongside a friend, and then it never happened, and then I just realized this book doesn't sound like something that I would enjoy, so it's leaving. Then I'm getting rid of The Replacement by Brenna Jovanoff, and you know, this book has just been on my shelf for so long now, and I don't have any desire to read it. Every time I look at it, I'm not like wanting to read it, and I just feel like I never will read it. It'll just sit on my shelf collecting dust, so it's gotta go. Then I'm getting rid of Fireweed because I don't even know why I bought this book, but I have it, so I'm getting rid of it because I don't have any desire to read it. I feel like I've said that for every book now, but I just don't have any desire to read it, so it's flapping its way out of here. Then I'm getting rid of Amelia Ann is Dead and Gone by Kat Rosenfield. I've tried reading this book like 3 times now, and I just really couldn't get into it. And I have heard amazing things about this book, but I just don't want to force myself to read it, so I'm getting rid of it. Then I'm getting rid of Belzar by Meg Waltzer. I just don't want to read this book, to be frankly honest. Then I'm getting rid of The Wild Things by Dave Eggers. I bought this book because of the cover, because I freaking love it, and I'm sad to see this one go because I love the cover, but I'm not gonna read it. I just know I'll never read it, so it's getting out of here. Then I'm getting rid of The Beginning of Everything. I tried reading this book, couldn't get into it. Then I'm getting rid of Opposition for a very snobby book snob reason, and that is because I own the rest of the series in the floppy paperback editions, and this is in hardcover, and I want this in the floppy paperback edition, so I'm going to be rebuying this in paperback. So yep, y'all know how much of a book snob I am now. Then I'm getting rid of How to Be Interesting, and this is a book that I saw on Tumblr one day, and I just bought on a whim. And I read it, and it was interesting, but I'll never read it again, so it's gonna go. It's gotta go. It's getting out of here. Then I'm getting rid of Soon I Will Be Invincible by Austin Grossman. This is one that I actually might revisit in the future, but I've had this on my bookshelf for like 2 years, haven't touched it, so getting rid of it. Then I'm getting rid of Love Letters to the Dead, and the reason I'm getting rid of this book is because I started reading it and it felt just so similar to The Perks of Being a Wallflower that I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't continue reading it, so I'm gonna be getting rid of this one. And it's unfortunate because I really wanted to love this book and I was going into it really excited, and I just couldn't get into it, and I couldn't separate it from The Perks of Being a Wallflower for some reason, so getting rid of it. And finally, the last 2 books that I'm getting rid of that I might actually get some hate for, so don't hate, but I'm getting rid of The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer and The Evolution of Mara Dyer. I've heard great things about these first 2 books, but I've seen a lot of mixed reviews for the 3rd book in this trilogy, and so to me, it just doesn't feel worth it to commit to a trilogy when I know that a lot of people have had mixed feelings about the 3rd book. And a lot of these reviews that I've seen have come from people that I really trust, like I really trust their reviews, so I'm getting rid of them. Don't hate me. Don't hate me, don't hate me, please. I don't want to read them, so I'm not gonna read them. So that was a lot of books, and I know that a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, he wasted his money, but it's really fine, it's okay. It's good to go through your shelves and really reevaluate the books that you have and to think, am I really gonna read this? Or should somebody else out there in the world have this book for their enjoyment because they're actually gonna read it? I have no regrets. I bought those books and now I'm getting rid of them, and that's okay. So thanks for watching, guys. You guys should let me know down below how your TBRs are going. How many books do you have on your TBR? Are you participating in the 0x16? Let me know down below, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Later. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, and the evolution. The evolution of the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. But I'm getting rid of the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer.